Ladies and gentlemen, in the same squad, but in the other division, we are going to take you on a ride for the Division 2 West race number 6 at Halong Bay. I'm being welcomed by Gus the Goose. My name is Quattros, though, and Gus the Goose is going to cut the beam to introduce to you the race.
Hel- Hello, everybody. My name is Gus the Goose. As always, we're joined here in Halong Bay in Vietnam, virtually, for the sixth round of the Division Two West Championship. Leo Parter is still your championship leader, with Lepery close behind. Well, I say close, 55 points behind. Leo has really pulled a large lead in this championship. And in the team standings, it is still Funny Group Racing having an absolute breakout season. They were fighting for eighth place last season in the Constructors' Championship division. They are now leading the team's championship. As the people look to the sky for rain and see that none will come, it is sunny for the next 30 minutes as the heat warms up on track quarters.
Yes, and as you said, you can see all the standings you need with a legend next to it. You can see that Mantai's racing driver, Leopardo 6112, who at the start of the season was racing for Saigon, who was seized for obvious reasons, is leading the championship after a stunning, blitzing start of the season, taking almost maximum points. He was 2 points short of a maximum points for the first 3 rounds. Then he fell back a bit. For the second place, we have Lepri, who has never stood on a podium though. He has P5, P4, P5, P4, and P7, and then Quattros YouTube, which is talking to you right now. He's a reserve driver because he has decided to come to Division 2 Easy instead. Then at fourth we have I am Bob 11A with some who is very irregular this season. Week in, week out, he's doing great, and then he's doing bad. And Italy is though who is present, but it's gonna be his last race for this division after permanently joining Division 1. That's all you need, and for the Constructors Championship, as Gus said, I'm not gonna repeat what Gus said. Funny Group, TMP, Lezados. That's all you need. Also, you see the legend. Gold is for the first place, and it goes on. So, hide, hide, hide. And now enjoy. Enjoy who is going to be the first one to cut the beam and start his lap. It seems that Consti Stinct, who is one of the most promising drivers in Division 2 to race, is going to be the first one. So Stella Corsa's reserve driver, I don't know who's reserving for actually, but we see no teammates of Consti, so both ROBLOX and Yoko might be out of the session. And I wonder, I'm sorry to interrupt you, I wonder why is it 12 minutes? It is... There was... In Division 1 it was 10 minutes then. Yeah? Oh, alright, so it was my mistake to put 10 minutes, like 50 seconds before the session, because I thought someone has gone out of their mind to forget that it's 10 minutes, but yeah, it's my mistake. I apologize for doing that. And we see Consisting, let's get an onboard lap with him. We were gonna do off onboard because of the stream that is so loud, and now up the hill Consti goes. Very late on the turning, and then down the hill for that fast and flowing turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, turn 5, and that long turn 6 that has very deceiving throttle, and on the throttle he goes. And up the hill he goes for the end of sector 1 for that blind right-hander turn 6 and then turn 7. Very following section with the deceiving corners like this next chicane that he's turning into. And it could be better, but it's still fine. He hasn't made any mistakes, he hasn't made any corner cuts. And now for the most betraying corner of this calendar, personally, arguably, turn 10 and turn 11, which is really difficult to time the brakes with. And then that fast and flowing section, long turn 14. I lost the count of the turns though, and for sector 3, He needs to avoid the bump. Let's see if he does that. If he does dump slightly, he's slightly bumped, but he goes through turn 15 and turn 16 very, very good. So he hasn't made any purple sector. Purple sector 1 cracked F, purple sector 2 Amogus was imposter who is reserving for PvP. And now we stick to Consti Stick, who is finishing his lap through turn 12. I don't really know. But this section has very, very deceiving, fast and flowing, changing corners, and he almost goes wide, and he rushes into the line, and he goes first. But the 48.1 is a very, very good time to begin with.
Championship charge last season didn't score more than 10 points in a weekend or qualify in the top 3 after that point, but we understand that he became rather busy.
Rambo goes 6th. Rambo goes 6th fastest. And then let's see I am Bob 11A, who is 4th in the driver's standings. He goes 3rd. So he falls short a bit to Italy. He falls short to Consti, who is still leading. Despite having no green sectors at all. That's a very, very impressive stuff to do. As no one is on a lap yet, so we will have time to tell what could be the best strategy for the race. It doesn't seem that the race is gonna be shuffled by the rain outcome. So I think by the Division 1 race, it could be one stop as the best accessible option to go. Isn't that right?
That the one stop definitely seems preferable for sure. Drivers like Gio, who were a bit out of position, managed to score 4th place in the Division 1 race this morning using the one stop.
I need to do one thing because something is wrong. Someone has done. Let's see if. Right, he's on an outlap. So wait. Hold on. I need to change something in a minute. Division 2 West, because why do we have white colors? Why?
There were some. I heard about this.
Yes, there were, but
ship, I think.
Wait, I will change that. I believe this will help. No.
Yeah, certain teams' colors were changed to be less similar to others. I'm not sure.
I don't know how to do that. Let's not stick into that. Rip David. Rip David with a purple sector 2. He's coming off down the hill for that fast and flowing section that he has in front of him. Now he has 3, 2, and then 1 turn to go. Rip David, who is sick in the driver's standings, who is seeking for some more wins, for some more podiums. He goes fastest, and wow, what a time! 47.5, the time that could give you a P4 in Division 1 race, qualifying. And we need to wait for Hansa Legend, who has set purple sector 2, and he goes 2nd. He goes 2nd, so it's Rip David ahead of Hansa and Consti. So Albert went 4th.
On the podium in last season's race, definitely knows how to drive around here. Leopardo was the highest qualifier who's actually returning to D2W this season. KitKat was the pole sitter on that particular day.
And Leopardo has set a purple sector too, so he's definitely the one to watch out for. He's definitely the one on the watch, the Mountain Racing driver, the championship leader, who definitely knows how to drive the car through every track that's possible in the calendar. Now we see Leopardo making his way through the final turns of this circuit. Let's see if he does make any mistake. He does not. So this is going to be what we see is the top 3 lap. But let's see, where does he put him? It does put him on pole. With a 1:47.561 is 16 milliseconds faster to Rip David. What a lap, what a battle we are going to see in these last 4 minutes of the qualifying.
Leopardo shouts out to the heavens in the chat, holy personal best. That is the fastest lap, according to himself, That is the fastest lap he's ever done around this track.
Yeah, it's the fastest lap of the session as well. I personally had done a point 0.6, so I'm nothing prepared compared to Leopardo to what Rip David has done. What a lap they had put around this track as we see Dan Solarisovic, 2020, who is one of the new drivers around the circuit. Certainly his first appearance for a newly forced arcade racing that is managed by Gus the Goose, who is joined by and he just
No, I'll decline to comment for now.
yeah, sure. What do you feel about being a team boss? Let's have that as an interview, as no one is on a lap yet, besides Consti, but he has a red sector one. So how do you feel about being a team boss of a newly uh, formed team?
Well, look, we joined the season midway through, completely blank slate, no points. We didn't
For
compare any
obvious
points. It
reasons.
essentially wasn't a team seizure, as Lepri's on a good lap.
Yeah.
So I just want to go out there and see if we can get some points. Obviously, you see Dan there's a bit off the pace. Reminds me of a version of myself from a year ago. Let's see what kind of lap Lepri can do as he crosses the line.
That
P9, good for him. Yeah, we have a lot to learn with Dan, and obviously we have Charles Leclerc Best also is our other driver reserve, who I don't think is going to make it today.
We also have Constisting finishing his lap. He has green sector 2. So we will see if he's going to put the challenge for top 3. And he does. He overtakes Hamza. Hamza is out of top 3. And then we are going to see Maxim Ninja. And then we are going to see... no one. No. Rip David is on a lap as well. But first is going to be Maxim Ninja. Maxim Ninja is going to be the earlier one. So Maxim Ninja is rushing into the line and he crosses it and he goes P7. And then Rip David following him closely behind and he goes P2. He doesn't improve his time as well as the position. Then Bob. Bob, who is Lazado's leader, who has been the leader of the Division 2 East Championship after round 1, despite being the reserve driver for Pravira Racing. So, now he goes through, I don't know the count of the turns, but he goes downhill, and he goes through that fast and flowing section that each corner is way and way more curved. Now, 3 and 2 and then 1 turn to go for Iron Bob 11A, and let's see where this lap can put his car, and this position will be P5. That's a very good lap time for the final time, because Iron Bob is obviously not going to improve his time.
And again, P5 for the Mexican driver for the Brazilian team in the number 11 white and purple Lazado's team. There's looks like a bit of a Christmas tree. It's all reds and greens all over the timing tower. And you see Krakdev, who's definitely been making waves in Division 2 lately, and Smykos, who is finally getting their season going. The Manti driver started in Division 1, came to Division 2, can't seem to really get it together despite having great pace, and will stay 13th for now, sadly.
Oh, Krakdev goes wide and he's gonna cost him some time. But it doesn't cost him the position, because even if he didn't go wide, he wouldn't overtake Hamza. 4P4, he's P5. And then Dan Solarisovic seems to have his lap going. Two sectors, both of them are being green. Let's see if it does put chance to at least Diamond M 001, who is having a not so good part of the season. He's only P16. I remind you, he has done a P3 finish last season in Pirkama. It was due to some disqualifications of some arts that I'm not gonna remind you of. But Don Solarisovic is finishing his lap. The driver for a newly formed, as I said, arcade racing, goes 3 seconds faster, but none positions higher. We see 3 drivers only on track. Amogus Imposter, who is only P15, and Diamond P16. That's a very, very bad qualifying for Lagura. They are having a shocker. They're having a stinker, but let's see if Amogus does improve their position and their statement after the qualifying. He leaves on the track, but so it doesn't seem that he does. He stays P15. And let's wait and see what the VC Championship leader has in mind for this last couple of turns, for this final lap. Will he improve his position? Will he improve his time? Oh, it seems that he does not. He goes wide and he stays P10. And now for the final car, Diamond. As I said before, only P16 is not the best position to start the race with, especially in the lower divisions. Diamond crosses the line and he goes P16 and he flips. So it's the end of the qualifying session. Leopardo confirms that he's the one who is the fastest, along with Rip David and Consti, then Hamza, then Kragdev, I am Bob 11A. That's the top 6. Do you have anything to add, Gus?
Leopardo upgrades his qualifying position of this race last season. Let's see if he can upgrade his race distance, which lasted all but a few corners.
Right, 5 seconds until the race starts. Let's see. All of the drivers' wait, 3 cam and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and the tires that they have. And we all go off the line with Leopardo and Italy. Italy is being on hard tires and Smykos, so does Diamond, so does Dan Solarisov and Charles Leclerc. Everyone else is being on medium tires. And let's see who is going off the line first, who is taking the turn war first. It's obviously Leopardo, who does make a corner cut. No one seems to make a single mistake. Through turn 2 they go. Leopardo, then Consti, then David, then Kragdev, and Hamza, who has lost a single position.
I believe this is now officially the farthest Leopardo has ever raced here at Halong Bay, but he is being hounded by the Lazada driver, the new driver for Mantai, the championship leader, trying to recover points for that team and trying to extend his dominant lead in this driver's championship.
Meanwhile, great start from Amogus Imposter, 3 places up since the start of the race. Very, very great performance from him as for now. Now let's see what the others have in mind as Consti gets a corner cut, and this buries his chances at some point for the podium. As I said, he probably did that in that deceiving turn 10. It is, as I said, one of the most betraying corners. It is very, very hard to time the braking, to turn, to accelerate. Everything is hard about this corner, personally.
Leopardo is shaking the rest of the field, except for Rip David, the one that matters, as Smykos takes a deep line into the corner and recovers alongside Wolf Rambo, who's been fighting since the beginning of this lap. Rip David is hounding Leopardo. He's not letting the championship leader go.
Yeah, and 2 of them are fighting for his life. And 2 of them, oh, David goes wide, and it does. As I said, the commentator's curse is back once again. Instead of finding Leopardo for the lead, he fights Hamza for P2, and he's stuck in that midfield battle, as we can say that, because 9 cars are involved in that, as Leopardo has a very, very clear gap for the start of the race, 1.4. He can just open it up and slide away. That's Hamza! Hamza!
No, just as I was going to say, he scored a P3 finish in the first round of the season, has only scored 9 points since then. A driver desperately looking to recover his season. That's not what he needs. He falls from 2nd to 7th.
Yeah, we need to talk about his internet connection problems, as he goes bumpy. He goes bumpy in a place that he should not be bumpy. I mean, this game obviously has some glitches, but it wasn't expectable. Hamza drops back to P8 within the matter of couple of corners, as Rip David continues to have P2 then. Ahead of Kragdev and ahead of Italy, and then ahead of Consti, Lepri, Bob and Hamza, who will have a very, very different time making these places back, as Leopardo is just on another league, as Tijerg was in the Division 1 race earlier on. 1.8 seconds. As Italy goes... Oh, the timeline, the timesheet problem.
If Hamza didn't have bad luck, he'd have no luck at all. He's down to 7th place. Consti Stink at the fastest first sector, climbed up to 5th place, and has fallen back down to 8th place. So, very turbulent opening tours for the Stella Corsa
And
driver.
and Hamza gets back to work immediately as he gained 2 places back. He overtook Iron Bob. He overtook Consti for P6. Oh, oh, oh! We are. I just lost words.
We are having some technical issues, and the drivers are as well, but it looks like we're continuing racing. Hamza Legend's biggest rival. It's not the drivers, it's not the car, it's not the track, it's his own internet, as always.
It reminds me of
But
Black
a driver
Serpent's.
immense talent, for sure.
It reminds me of Black Serpent's case throughout the whole season 8. He was one of the fastest, if not the fastest driver in Division 2, as there was only one Division 2 back in the season 8, and he was the fastest one. But due to his disconnection problems, constant disconnections, he didn't even get to have one victory. He has had 2 podiums. 2 was too low amount for him, for his pace, for his experience. But it is what it is. Now Hamza is fighting, he's grueling, and he's suffering with these disconnection problems, with his tires, with his motivation to go higher than P6.
In all the melee, Crackdev has negotiated his way up to P3. He did that rather quietly, as he tends to do. Certainly when I joined, started playing Formula Roblox in 2023, he was always at the top of the skill ranking list as Leprey is being chased and just barely stays on track. As Crackdev is hounding Rip David to climb up on that podium, just as much as Rip David is hounding Leoparder for the lead of the race here at How Long.
Yeah, and we need to talk about Leopardo some more because he has lost some of that advantage, and now he has Rip David on his back a bit because he can just pull himself up with the slipstream that he has. The slipstream that has been reduced to almost nothing compared to season 9, but it always will help you in the following part of the fight. And we also need to talk about Italy more. I mean, he's on hard tires and is doing a good job. But oh yeah, I just assumed. Never mind.
Italy has done some good work on starting on hard one-stop type races at every division that he's raced in so far. As we go on the swivel free cam, look out onto the Grand Forest, you can see just how vertical this track is. Going up a hill into a corner blindly is very common on this track. It makes it unique from the rest of the tracks in this calendar. And this camera gives you a good view of how all these gaps play out visually. You see Crackdev is right on David's tail.
Wait, hold on, we have missed that, but Leoparder has made a crucial mistake, or even not one. As Leoparder is P3, we have missed that. Well, I was going for a free cam, but David and Crackdev are battling it out, wheel to wheel, every corner for P1. And let's see who is being the one that is winning that. The Brazilian against the Frenchman. Who will win that?
Already a winner in Division 2 West this season, took the victory in Gisborne. They know how to run in the front. Crackdev knows how to drive fast in any Roblox racing league, so I've been told by him. But Leoparder, absolute disaster in the opening tours. Our helicopter shot was expecting him, but we got Rip David X instead.
And we have some other battles as well. Besides battle for P1, we have a battle for P4, and we have a battle for P7 between Italy and Hamza, who is having a very, very bad time in recovering these places. He seems to not recover at all and stay where he is. And then we have a battle for P9 between 3 drivers in it. And then a battle for P15 between Battle and a Victor. And that's it for the battles. Let's stick to the battle that's the highest, that's the most important for the race, being Crackdev and David. David and Crackdev. We see David shuffling around because of his internet connection problems, probably. And we see that it doesn't really help him at all, as Crackdev is taking the lead from Rip David. He was P3 like a lap ago. Now Now he's leading with no
We're going to see
Leoparder on a
Leoparder
radar.
is not quite in the clutches of Lepre 28 yet in fourth place, but definitely starting to give little hints of slipstream and dirty air to the closest thing Leo has to a championship rival. 55 points the good from Leo to Lepre. As it stands now, Lepre's the closest person on track, but even if Leo didn't finish this race, then he would
Oh,
not
and
be able to
Leo.
take take that position, as we have Charles Leclerc best in the arcade racing has retired from this race from the last runners, as Leo Parter dips into the gravel but doesn't seem to lose that much time in the process.
Yes, and Consti has made some crucial mistakes as he has dropped back to P8. This means that Hamza, Italy, Bob, they have all gained the place back, as Bob is fighting with Lepri at some point. He is following closely behind. Lepri will start to feel, at some point, he will start to feel the Mexican breath on his back that smells like kind of quesadillas and tortillas, as they
As
have
a Mexican
Leopardo on the
myself, I
radar.
can confirm that is what my breath smells like.
Hmm? What?
Mexican American, anyways.
Yeah, sure. Uh,
Oh, Rip David is he's not letting Crack Dev go. David desperately wants to win this race. I think if he continues at this pace, David is definitely could be in the talks to being a championship contender, depending on what happens later. Crack Dev is a
oh,
reserve.
Krakdev makes a
He
mistake.
falls back from David X.
So Rip David pulls his way through the field of one man. And it seems that Krakdev has already gained all the distance back and is right on his tail. So it's a game of mistakes and the game of whose mind will be the strongest, who will get on out of the nerves, who will be the stronger one.
They're battling like gladiators now, but what's going to happen is this is a David X.
Oh,
Over
yeah.
the front of the corner. He's losing time to Crackdev. Crackdev takes the lead of the race in Halong Bay.
I mean, he has taken the lead before, but this lead is more clear, more restored, more reunified now, as he has nine tenths of an advantage. It is still going to be recoverable, but he has some time, some place, some breathing space to open the gap. And this brings ultimately Rio Powder into the fight, into the conversation, as he's right like 8 tenths behind with David and also Lepri 1.4 behind. Does this help him? I don't know, because it's just at the border of the slipstream, and the slipstream's range, slipstream's power is reduced like way more than it used to be in season 9.
We have Albert the best, first driver to come in on pit lane.
Yes, and we need to stick on that because we will see what tires will it do, and A Victor does that as well. Albert goes on hard tires, so it's medium hard for him, one stop as expected. And A Victor, what does he do? He will likely do the same. He goes hard tires.
Looks like they're on the same strategy.
Yes, great notice, great catch as Crackdev maintains the gap. Oh, and Leoparder has made some mistakes because he is now closer to Lepri, or more Lepri is closer to him than he is to the conversation of battling it out in P1, and he has made another mistake, I think, because the gap between them is 8 tenths of a second. And then we have following closely behind, 1 second, 0.1 tenth. I am Bob, 6 seconds behind. Italy, who is on, seems to be on a faster hards than these mediums as he goes wide, and it cost him a big time. It cost him some breathing space over Hamza, who is in P7, and then Konsti, who is in P8. And then we have Smikos.
So you could dip a little
Lepri overtakes. Lepri has overtaken Leoparder for that final podium position, so Leoparder is having a shuckle. He's having a very bad part of the race as they both come into the pits.
It's a battle on pit lane. Bob is with them.
All of them are storming into the pits. Let's see who will be the faster one, whose mechanics will work the strongest. Who of them will come on the line first? As Lepri, yes, Lepri had to. Lepre had to recover from a bad positioning in the pit lane, and this costs him a position and even two, as Bob is ahead of Lepre as well as Leopardo.
Disaster for the 28 crew. Lepre just narrowly break too early. Usually you see drivers going long and then immediately roll backwards and then forwards again out of instinct, because usually drivers run too deep into their pits. And you see just that minor little mistake. He was right alongside Leopardo. You can see the gap on the timing screen has become much more significant just for that tiny little bobble. Lepre will be furious.
Yes, and we need to notice that the only man or that are not in the that were not in the pits yet were Arcade's racing driver Dan Solarisov, then Wolf Rambo, who is having an absolute stinker for a race that he has, and then the top six. We need to have in mind that Laguerre's racing cars are on a different strategies, and we need to monitor what Italy and Smikos are doing, because this could be what the alternate strategy has for them in mind. This could be a very, very good strategy from them too, as we saw Gio doing that and claiming his best results since season 7 Kilema, which was P4. As we see Kragdev pulling away from David at some point. 1.4 is the gap when they come into the pits. So we will see, we will monitor the gap that they will have between each other when they come out into the pits, who will budge, who will stay strong in the pit lane. Oh, Kragdev needed to recover. Yes, the gap will be a bit smaller.
We're getting reports that Wolf Rambo missed their pit box, and I think they've retired from the race. Yes,
Yes.
They just retired from the race.
Yes, he might have rage quitted, I believe. That's not the race he's going to remember as...
For no reason.
Yeah, Kragdev is behind Diamond, he's behind Smikos, and of course behind Italy. And we will monitor what will Italy and Smikos do, because Diamond isn't really in a fight for big points at this stage of the race. Smikos and Italy could. They were driving respectively in P6 and in P9 when all of the medium runners were pitting. So from the medium runners perspective, we see Kragdev, then David, then I Am Bob, who has overtaken, who is in a fight with Leopardo, and then Lepre, then Hamza, that are also battling it out, and then Consti following closely behind them, waiting for someone's mistake, as he has made a mistake himself.
The field has been shuffled up through the pit stop cycle. We're seeing gaps that were small are now widened, like between Leo and Lepre, and gaps that were widened are now small. Seeing Bob fighting with Leopardo, and David has just passed Diamond, who I believe owes the field a pit stop, and is going to look to make inroads on Kragdev, who did the overcut, as it were, used this lead on David and forced David into traffic.
Yes, and also take a look at the gap between Italy and Smikos that is currently increasing. And now it's decreasing as... Oh, it's increasing again, so it must be a lifetiming glitch. But it was like 3.6, now it's 4.8, and it's increasing constantly. It's building up in our eyes, in a blink of an eye. So Italy might be going for a very, very good position at the end of the race, once he will pit, and this will happen in like 2, maybe 3 laps, maybe 4. Also, in a fight for P5 currently between the 3 drivers, but Diamond is just a sitting duck. We see that David is there on a radar.
Oh, very deep for Diamond. The dirty air coupled with the old tires. That's the problem.
Yes.
Running long and having up in traffic with the drivers who have just pitted. He has lost time he didn't need to lose, unintentionally fighting with these other drivers.
Let's take a look at some other battles as well. We see that Lepre and Hamza are still battling it out, wheel to wheel, every corner, every second, every lap for P8. Then we see Consti being in the range of the slipstream. That is very, very poor for this season. Then we see Albert not being too far off, but too far to be in the slipstream battle and into the conversation. Now, then we see the battle for the final pole position between Maxim and Amogus, and Maxim has seemed to make a mistake. And why is Maxim in the base car?
He asked for special permission from the officials to run the base car because the team hadn't prepared a livery.
Oh, Okay, this is good then. And then we see no battle at all as Amogus has taken past Maxim Ninja for that final point position. As Iron Bob has dropped back a bit, and this means he's excluded from any fight. As Leopardo has gained some place, some time back to Rip David, that what could be a possible fight for potential provisional P2. 9 tenths between them in it, and David is 2.4 behind Crackdev, which is having a very, very quiet but a strong, a clinical race so far, with a halfway to go.
Halfway already. These races tend to just fly by. Very high speed track and prone to rain, but it's been dry today, so we get to see this track at absolute full speed. This track is one of the most difficult on the calendar.
Oh, Rip David made a mistake. Rip David made a slight mistake. He ran wide. It was just about to be seen. As when you said about the weather, we can notice that it wasn't really noticeable. But when at the start of the race it was sunny weather, now it's overcast. But it will clear up. The weather will clear up. The sun will be clearer with some less clouds in like 16 and 26 minutes.
Interesting to see when the hard runners come in, because with a track that has a length this long and this small of a lap count, the difference between pitting on one lap to the other is a lot more significant than, say, Constantina or Pomodoro or a short track like that, where if you're a lap or so late, it's not as punishing as here, where you could possibly lose or gain tons of time just with that being precise on your hit lap. They currently run about half the race on one tire, the people who started on the hard. So it'll be interesting to see what they do when they come in and switch for the mediums.
I'm not going to agree with you because in aero-related tracks like Constantina, the difference between pitting a lap that is ordinary and a lap later and a lap earlier than that is going to make a huge difference because of the short straights, because of all you need to master the corners. Also, we see that in Ludwig, we see that in Flevo track, which is half the slip track, half aero-related track, especially the sector 2. So it's not really likely that on long track it's going to pursue, as we see that in Hisborn it's a very, very long track, but it doesn't really work because of how slip related the track is. So it's all about aero.
I imagine we're going to see them in relatively soon. I don't remember the highest hard medium runner in Division 1 was Gio, who I don't remember quite when he stopped. He ended at 4th place on that particular day.
I believe he pitted like lap 13, so they could even pit now. Let's see the gap between Italy and Smikos. It's currently increasing now. The gap is sitting at 5.3, 5.4. Now it's 5.8. Smikos must have made a mistake and he has an addition of Krakow behind his back, which doesn't really help him in assessing the best pace possible, because he knows that he will be overtaken imminently. As Leopardo has dropped a lot back from Rip David, it seems that all of the top drivers are not really in a some sort of stress. They have a quiet race, despite Hamza and Lepri who are battling without with Consti. As always, this race a bit behind them. As Consti, Lepri, Hamza, they are all pitting. Italy is pitting though. He's pitting for the medium tires, so he does an undercut on Smikos. He has an undercut on Diamond. As Diamond being on lap on P12, he pits. So an alternate strategy for Diamond has not worked. But he didn't miss his pit
box. Laguar Racing, and he's away cleaning.
Yes, he didn't miss his pit box as well, so he did help the crew in organizing the best pit stop that they could. Now we see Kragdev ahead of Smykos 1.5, then ahead of David 1.2. So Rip David is going to take on the challenge to overtake the Monte Racing second driver. Just about the matter of corners, it is going to happen. Hamza made a mistake. We have missed that, but Hamza is now 1.6 behind Consti, what was 1.1 ahead. So Hamza is not having a good race again.
Smykos might have played whatever strategy is wrong here, and he's probably going to be in this lap if he is on the hard medium, because now he's getting swallowed up by the leaders, and he's taking on some dirty air from these cars. Italy, as
Yes.
though, came in a moment ago as Constant makes another huge mistake fighting in
Yes.
traffic. On track, this is for position. We're going to see where he comes out relative to Smykos and this battle. So that'll be the important thing.
So,
Smykos, the 91 is on pit lane.
so Consti, Italy, who was pitted for mediums, is now past Hamza, Legend, and Consti, and he's now at P6 with 2.3 seconds, and the gap melting in ice to Lepri with P5 with 8 laps to go. I have a very, very good feeling about what Italy could maximize, what he could assess, what he could gain from this race, from that alternate strategy that he has come up with. So I believe that it was the advice from Gio because they are on the same team. So it is really understandable that Italy is though the leader of Funny Group Racing has done exactly what Gio did, his team boss. Oh, as Hamza makes another mistake, and this is a major one. And this excludes him from any fight, from this race, from big points as well. And he makes another mistake. It's a very, very bad race. It's a very, very bad time of what could be a good race because of that P4 and P2 he was running in the first laps of this race as well as Italy. Italy gets a purple sector too. Oh, as it's the dream of having the fastest lap taken away, go dashed as he goes so wide that he loses like every piece, every chunk of. As Lepri has made a mistake as well. So I'm going
This
to
is the
choke
sort of
back.
track that punishes people who aren't ready for their tire wear. As the tire wears down, there's a lot of lateral load on this track. You go into corners, you use every single part of the racetrack. If you're not ready to anticipate that tire wear, you're going to see these sorts of mistakes in the later phases of the race.
Yes, Italy must have felt a very rageous or sad about the mistake that he was having because the lap he was having, it could be a record breaker for this race, but it doesn't matter now because he is past Lepri because of the two mistakes he did in the recent seconds of this race. So he is P5 and he's 1.8 behind Iron Bob, and he is like very in the distance, in the range of his abilities, in the range of his tires, as he is going to blast past him now for P4. Is it going to be a race winning rush down the line? He's on a hunt to something more than P4. 4.3 in it between Leopardo, the championship leader, and Italy. Italy is maximizing the race that will be his last in this division at all.
Leopardo has enough of a window where if he plays his cards right, he will be able to keep this driver at bay. But as of now, Italy is, though, ironically, the Greek driver in his final Division 2 start does have the pace advantage. And you can see on the timing tower on the left-hand side of your screen, that gap is starting to melt away a bit, especially into these more technical sections like this hairpin here in the final part of the track, dipping over the curves, but there's a bit of a margin that you can get away with at certain points in How Long Bay.
Yes, and you can also see that in the live timing table on the left, you can see that Italy is being on a hunt again for the fastest lap, 2 green sectors in it. So
Bob 11A, something's happened to Bob 11A.
What? No! He has disconnected as Italy is though. Sets the fastest lap. I am Bob retires from the session. This is going to be very, very sad information for Lezados, but Lezados have one Joker in mind, which is Rip David, which is driving for P2 for a certain podium as he goes wide as hell. So the commentator's curse has seemed to work again.
Rip David X now running in second place. Now the sole Lozados left in this race. His teammate Bob 11A froze on track and has retired from this race.
Yes, we can see that, and we can see that one man hasn't overtaken him yet, and it's Dan Solarisov, the driver that has been recently signed by the recent made team Arcade Racing. Well, he has overtaken him now, and we're gonna stick to what Italy has in mind for Leopardo, the championship leader. 6 laps for Italy to maximize what he has to maximize, to claim a podium. The gap is 2.0. The gap is melting in ice. The gap is shrinking. The gap is down and down and down and down and down. 1.6 now, and it's being just in the slipstream range, which is going to be assessed, I predicted, at the end of the lap. So he will be able to catch even more at the starting straight, which is like hella long. It's lengthening in the imagination of the driver who is driving through the circuit. And now Italy is 1.2 behind. He has him on the radar. He has him in his eyes. Leopardo sees him. He whiffs on the track. And who is going to take it?
Leopardo still has the track position going into the first corner. It's tight. You see just how much control Italy has going into that corner. Lepre 28 doing the same thing. Leopardo, Italy as though running under the red pylons. So many hairpins. You can see the gap visually as we go into the helicopter shot. Hopefully this plays out better than the last time we did a helicopter shot of Leopardo being chased by someone we see as though is a bit laggy out of the S's, but does continue. He's maintaining the gap quite well. He's doing a good job keeping Italy as though behind in the Funny Group racing car. The Manti driver, the championship leader, is still going to maintain that lead. Oh, but he's right over the curbs there, but he managed to keep it under control. This is the section here where you're going to want to have good tires. Up ahead is a left turn into a right turn. It is absolutely brutal on rubber. Here it is. We'll see how they take it.
Italy goes wide, and Leopardo goes wide.
You can get away with that.
Yes, but Leopardo seems to make a corner cut that will cost him a big time. The time that is crucial. Let's stick to the onboard camera now because it's too loud for the stream for us to be heard. So Italy is though. The gap is 0.3 of a second to what could be his 4th consecutive podium. Now, since the start of his journey with Division 1, with Funny Group Racing, it was P3, P3, P3. Now he's going to assess P3 once again. And could it be more? Could it be P2 or P1? I don't think it's going to be P1. Kragdev is out of this league. Kragdev is 5 seconds ahead of Rip David. But could Rip David be accessible? I think yes. 4 laps to go. 4.3 in it. Rip David is on hard. That are very, very hard. That are nothing left from them. And Italy, he's on fresh mediums.
Italy as though climbs into the podium positions in his what is for now to be his final ever Division 2 start. Going to be a full-time Division 1 driver for Lozados, ironically the team he's competing with for the positions in this race.
Yes, and we need to talk about Smikos more because he has come back to P7, overtaking Maxim, who is P8, and both of them have overtaken Hamza. Actually, Maxim is in a fight with Hamza, 8 tenths between them. Now it's increasing to 1 second. But let's stick to what Italy is doing, to what he's creating, to what is invading the Italy's magic, the Greek ancient magic that he has in his hands, that he has in his controller, that is driving with, or keyboard. That doesn't really matter. 3.2 between the Brazilian and the Greek driver.
We're going to see here out on track, this podium battle is going to continue because these medium tires are going to start running out of talent pretty soon. He's taken the position, now he just has to maintain it. Leoparder also has to keep his head down, has to just not overdrive the car here. He's lost the position. Italy was on better tires, and he has to stick with them because if Italy makes a mistake, he could easily snatch it back at this range.
We need to take a note on what Smikos could also do, because the E5 for him could be on, as Hazard says. Well, I don't know what Hazard is actually doing here, but welcome Hazard to the battle, to the Game of Thrones, to the Squid Game of Halong. Smikos could really go for P5 here, because 3.4 between Consti and Smikos and 4.2 between Lepri and Smikos. But we need to stick for Italy, to what Italy will do, to what will he create, to what will he invent. 2.2 in it. Now, the gap is melting in a blink of an eye, as Italy is making his way to what could be a higher position than this P3 that he has claimed consecutively for 3 times this season.
Lepri is starting to reel in Leoparder for 4th place, so definitely as Leoparder is overtaken by Italy, as though now Lepri is probably going to be his main concern. Though, am I mistaken? No, that is an 8, not a 0. Forgive me. The low quality. It is actually Consti Stink on Lepri. That was the number I saw.
Also, we need to take on the fact that Leoparder seems to follow up. No, the gap has increased now that I said that. It was 1.9, it's 2.7 now. But what is the most interesting is the gap between Italy and David, but as well as Smikos and Consti. It's 1.8 here, but the gap between Italy and David, with 2 laps to go only, is 1.1. It's in the submission range. He is not going to claim that much of a gap on the straights, but he can in the corners with the advantage that he has, which is monstrous, which is hilarious. We can see how much he's gaining on screen. It's 1.1 now with the fastest lap that he has taken away from him. He can take away from him now the P2 that Red David has in his hands. Lezados have felt a first heartbreak when Iron Bob has disconnected from P4. They can feel another one coming, breathing, coming out, as Italy is just behind Rip David, but he goes wide, but he sticks it inside the walls, outside of the corner cuts, outside of the bollard, and he is on a hunt. He won't get away Crackdeath. Crackdeath will likely win his race unless something catastrophic happens. But Rip David is just praying that Italy Isdo makes a crucial mistake now. For the most easy part to make a mistake, he goes wide, but he doesn't lose a big time.
This is the serious battle. This hairpin is always the way. You can see just right there, he's barely keeping it on the track. He's maintaining speed as is now. That section of the track is really where you start to feel the punishment of those worn down tires. This is for the podium position for Italy, as though it is a final parting gift for his team that has given him an amazing start this season in Division 2. White flag, sponsored by all the fortunate sons driving here today, is taken by Crackdev, then Rip David X and Italy, as though this are the top 3 as it stands now, but who will be in 2nd place?
Well, when I had the last race for Funny Group Racing, I had delivered the P2. Italy could do literally the same as he does, as Rip David fumbles, as Rip David will drop back to P3, and Italy will do just what I did when farewelling for Funny Group Racing. A history is repeating itself, as Funny Group Racing will need to worry about signing a new driver instead of Italy, but they have no worries now, as Italy is maximizing the need of the points that they have for the championship battle for the constructors championship between TMP and Funny Group. Let's remind you that Anoif is not on the track. He's not on the session. He wasn't. He was not. Italy is taking on the challenge to fight for it by himself. As Smikos is for P5. He has overtaken in the meantime Lepri and Consti. So Smikos is in P5. The strategy that he has worked on him. So Leopardo and Smikos form a 4-5 for Mante Racing, as we see Crackdev going a bit wide, but he doesn't have any threat of losing his position. As Italy is though has a chance to fumble it because it's 1 second between him and David, but we see Crackdev pulling his way out of the final corner to win another race in Division 2 West. Crackdev is on top for the Vietnamese Grand Prix, ahead of Italy and then ahead of David.
Italy, as though, signs off a Division 2 with a podium for Funny Group Racing. David comes to take the line, another podium for him. The championship leader is in fourth, and Smikos, finally, a result to smile about in Season 10, comes home in fifth, just behind his championship leading teammate. What a brilliant run. Lepri 28th in sixth place, Consti Stink in seventh, Hamza Legend in eighth, Albert in ninth. Maxim Ninja doesn't even have a livery, but he does have a 10th place finish as it stands now. Among Us Sussy Imposter in 11th. Diamond is still on track and will likely come home in 12th as the final points position, and Bat Owl and Dan Solaris are the final two finishers for a brilliant How Long Grand Prix.
Yeah, we need to take on note that Lagwar, despite all the DNFs that that we were having throughout this race, Iron Bob, A Victor, Wolf Rumble, Charles Leclerc Best, they have been able to recover from penultimate and the last position in qualifying to P11 and P12 double points. Maybe it's only 3 points, but it's double. So they have something to work on for the next race, which will happen in like 3 weeks time. In the end of February, we will go to the Argentina for Buenos Aires because of the license event next week, which we kindly introduce you to. If you want to race for this league, just sign up, enter the Discord server, and then drive in a license event and just finish the race, and we will see what division will you hop inside. Gus, for the Driver of the Day award, who would you pick?
That's difficult because everyone was acting fairly consistent with themselves. Good drives all around. I have to say, probably Smikos in fifth because that's definitely his best result he's had in a turbulent season 10 after an amazingly promising season 9 and off season.
Oh, it's raining.
And there's the rain, a little too late.
Yes, it could be very, very exciting, way more exciting race, but we have been delivered with an exciting race already. For me, the Driver of the Day, it's hard to say, but from the sympathy to Funny Group Racing and with the driving that the guy I'm talking about has pulled, it's gonna be Italy. It's gonna be Italy because of the qualifying position that he started in. He was like P6, like P8. Then he went on an alternate strategy. He was at one stage of the Grand Prix, he was on P9, and then he was able to recover instantly. He was able to manage to gain the places back in an extraordinary time. The way that he was doing that with ease, that is really something to remark, and that is a very, very good teaser of what this guy could do in Division 1. That's a very, very great farewell to this team, and we will also farewell from this session. My name was Quatrus, and I was joined by...
My name is Gus the Goose, and if you can't get enough racing action, join us live for other commentators live for Division 2 East in approximately 14 hours from now. Until then, I'll
Yes,
see you when Formula Roblox League returns. Goodbye,
that's
guys.
right, Gus. Goodbye for another session.